Why do I constantly have stuff on the bench that you guys aren't supposed to see yet? That's clean enough. Hello everyone. You guys coaxed me into it, and also I've done a little bit of thought on it. And yes, it's the right thing to do. Today we're going to tear into the transmission on the RGT. You guys win, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna kind of theme this as working on stuff that scares you, but you gotta work on it anyway. I didn't want to work on it, number one, because I didn't want to mess up the endpoint settings on that. But after closer inspection, these just kind of slot in to these. So hopefully, if I can wiggle it out the way that I'm thinking, I won't have to mess up the endpoints. And my other thought was, if I don't tear into the transmission and put grease into it, I won't know how difficult it is to do any transmission work, aka potentially changing the motor in the future. Let's dive into it. Let's learn something together. So first of all, I'm going to take out the grub screws for the drive shafts. I'm going to put them in a little bin. You know, that was something I didn't check in my review, if the drive shafts were in phase. Other than motor wires, this thing should be able to be unscrewed and disconnected from the chassis, which should, hopefully, fingers crossed, only be these 3 screws down here. That should be a good sign, especially from a manufacturer like RGT. I have to turn up the torque on my drill to get the screws out. Now let's start wiggling stuff. And already I am seeing there are mounts up near the front as well. Okay. Now it wiggles. Yep, this is exactly what I was worrying about. Okay, first and foremost, I want to say that this is not an instructional. You should not have to do what I just did to take the transmission out. What I will say is that is the best way I could figure how to get it out. These little posts right here were holding me up within the frame, and also this little cross brace was keeping the motor from coming down and pivoting the transmission in a way that I could get it out. This is all very informative to me, because once I get this back together, this isn't happening again. Okay? You understand? This is not happening again. I want to put these in a separate bin. Do I have one handy? No, of course not. Get a little Tupperware going. I mean, look at that. This is the dig function. So it's currently engaged, and then boop, and it'll spin freely. And all of this stuff is pretty bone dry. We can look in here. I don't know if you can see in there too well, but I can. It's about like the rear diff was, is that there's just a teeny tiny bit. There's these 2 screws back here, and then there's a screw in the front. Oh, that's sneaky. Huh. Hold on. Okay, so that goes in there like that. So I'm putting that shaft back in there to show the inner workings. And I think that clear little thingy right there is grease. Oh yeah, that's grease. Didn't let it touch the gears, but in there we have deeper to go. This can go with all of that and that, and this little shim, this little idler gear next to it. Okay, that comes out, and that goes on top, and then this is for the front wheel drive. I almost wonder if I could change the size of this to get front overdrive. Interesting little transmission. You know, I think this is the deepest the internet has ever been inside of a Chinese transmission. I should feel proud of myself. Oh wow, that's super interesting. So right here, to show you the difficulty I was having, there's this pin right here, and I don't know how to get it out. But on this side is another gear with a pin. So yeah, how do I get this out? We're just gonna leave it in. Now, to be honest with you guys, all of this isn't what's scary to me and wasn't why I was scared to take it apart in the first place. What I'm scared about is getting it back together and it start clicking like the 10.3 transmission does. And then I have to hear from you guys constantly, you put it together wrong and now it clicks. Because once this goes together, it's not coming back apart. And then this is the 2-speed. Super cool. So let's put some grease. And this top shaft is directly connected to the spur. So there's nothing in between all this. Cool. Phew. Okay, that went back together. RC Underdog over here with some investigative journalism. I just realized this gear right here is connected to the output. Huh. Now that's interesting. That's going to be very, very interesting to see in the long term as well. Okay, I'll say that's greased. All of that should work in. Now we're in the home stretch. Oh, haven't even been talking about bearings either. It does have bearings in here, so there's that at least. And also, thing I just noticed is the dog. That's what this is called, right? Your engagement into your locking mechanisms is your dog. This goes into plastic back here at the back. Super duper interesting. There we go. Yay, it still works. And oh, sick. If I'm not mistaken, these are counter-rotating shafts. Those Chinese guys like to do that. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know that like there's a benefit one way or the other, but it's cool. Now if I can remember where I said it, there it is. One quick thing to note, the motor and spur look like they are 48 pitch, which is no big deal because this is filmed after the first running video, as you can clearly see, and gearing and all that jazz felt okay. Wasn't really disappointed by it, so it's just of note. It's no real ridicule or benefit or anything like that. I'm just pointing it out. I have no clue what size pinion that is. Looks quite beefy. Oh, hold on. There's actual little numbers on this plate. It is a 21 tooth, and it can go down to a 17, but it felt fine. I mean, for the internet's sake, I'm willing to pick up a $10 pinion and try out a 17 tooth, but also you're fighting with the 1060. You're just going to snowball into this needs a 1080, or this needs a Fusion 1800, or this needs a Fusion SE, or this needs a Fusion Pro, or this needs a Mamba X and a Slate motor and 6S and a Shift S 2.0. No, guys. We're still box stock here. Let's take the temperature down a little bit. Let's just talk about what we're looking at right here. So calmly let me know. I'll try out the 17 tooth, but as of right now, fine. Trail truck. I think I found out the secret. You take the motor out and then you can point it down this way and take this plate out. That's the way I'm going to do it. Which, like I said, I'm not advocating that that's the way it needs to be done. That's just the way I've figured out how to do it. I'll stop it right here as I put it together. I've already spent almost an hour getting to this point, so I'll cut it off here and then I'll bring you back when we're all reassembled. Okay. We are back together, and we're going to do final systems check. Okay, she works again. I think I have something a little too tight back here on the big servo. Either that or I shouldn't be driving it while I'm shifting it. But she's back all together. Yay. Thank God I did that because I have a trail run tomorrow. So I'll leave it there at that point, and I'll see you all in the next video.